Part 115. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1141. After hanging up Xiang's PHS, Zhang Chen immediately called Tan Shehen. As soon as the call came through, Tan Shehen burst into tears when she heard Zhang Chen's voice. Zhang Chen, Nanan can't be found, what should we do? We can't find it no matter how hard we look, what should we do, Zhang Chen? Tan Shehen, I found Xiangnan, Zhang Chen said. Ah! Zhang Chen, what did you say? You found Xiangnan, hurry up, tell me where she is. Did she run back to Hangzhou alone? Tan Shehen shouted anxiously. Tan Shehen, calm down first and listen to me. Okay, I've calmed down, you tell me. Xiangnan is safe. She will go home in a while. You all go home and wait. Tan Shehen, Xiangnan is back. Don't ask any more questions, and don't scold her. Do you understand, Tan Shehen? If you get angry, Xiangnan may hate you for the rest of his life. Tan Shehen, this is no small matter, no joke, do you understand? As Tan Shehen listened, she also understood where Xiangnan was going and why she chose this morning to go. They would return to Hangzhou in the afternoon. Tan Shehen sighed and said, Zhang Chen, I understand. Do you really know or falsely know, Tan Shehen? Zhang Chen asked. Children are no better than adults. You must handle them carefully. It's best to just pretend that nothing happened. Wait until the incident has passed and then talk slowly. Do you understand? Tan Shehen. Tan Shehen nodded and said, Zhang Chen, I understand, you are right to remind me, thank you, Zhang Chen. Well, when you come back, go directly to Peach Blossom Spring. Let's get together in the evening. Xiao Zhao and I are going to Shanghai tomorrow. Okay, Zhang Chen, see you in the evening. After putting down the phone, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said, let's go back to the company. Xiao Zhao said yes, but fortunately it was a false alarm. Feeling relieved, the two of them felt very hungry. Xiao Zhao asked Zhang Chen. My dear, tell me, does this person get hungry easily when he is nervous? Zhang Chen smiled and said, I don't know that. Anyway, I'm starving now. Why, are you hungry too? Xiao Zhao made a sad face and kept nodding. They were still on the road when Zhang Chen's phone rang again. Zhang Chen was driving. Xiao Zhao looked at it and said, Pol. You pick it up for me, Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao pressed the answer button and then put the phone to Zhang Chen's ear. Lu Ligan called out, Zhang Chen, have you called me before? You humming know how to wake up, Zhang Chen scolded. Your mother woke me up and wouldn't let me sleep. She had to wake me up for lunch. What do you want from me? It's okay, just wait at my house. Tan Shehen and Xiangnan will go there directly when they come back in the afternoon. Okay, Tan Shehen also called me twice. I'll go back, Lu Ligan said. There's no need to go back. She was just telling you about going to Peach Blossom Spring at night. I already told her that you were there. Lu Ligan said yes, I have nothing to do in the afternoon. I am going to participate in the battle between two land reclamation warriors, Lang Guozhang. Lao Zhang has already invited me grandly and formally. Zhang Chen laughed, he said yes, be careful not to move your waist. When Tan Shehen received Zhang Chen's call, the three of them were walking back from the river. The three of them immediately stopped and gathered around to answer the phone. As soon as Tan Shehen hung up the phone, her mother quickly asked, where is Xiangnan? She went to Lao Gui's place. Tan Shehen took a long breath and said, Zhang Chen found her at Lao Gui's place, and Lao Gui will send her back. When the two of them heard this, they also let out a sigh of relief. Mrs. Tan muttered, that's good, that's good. After saying this, she stopped talking. Lao Tan sighed and said, Nan Nan is so sensible. In fact, she goes to see Lao Gui every year when she comes back. How could she not visit him this year? After all, Lao Gui is also her father. Mrs. Tan said angrily, I'm so old and confused. How could I forget this? I should have thought of it a long time ago. Old Tan smiled and said, it's not that I didn't expect that she would run so far away alone. It turned out that it was the second master who drove her there. Tan Shahen listened, and the more she listened, the more uncomfortable she felt. She was a little annoyed. She said, so you all know about this? Just hide it from me. Lao Tan snorted, we want to tell you. Where can we tell you? Nan Nan is going to see his father. This is a matter of course. Who can stop him? Tan Shahen was speechless for a moment and stamped her feet irritably. Mrs. Tan quickly smoothed things over. Okay, just find this person. I know our Nanan is so good and won't run around. The three of them walked forward for a while, and Tan Shahen said, Zhang Chen also said earlier that when we see Nan Nan later, we should act as if we don't know anything, let alone scold her. Zhang Chen is right, he was explaining to you, Lao Tan said. The three of them returned home. Lao Tan sat down on the sofa. Mrs. Tan wanted to make lunch. Tan Shahen said, what time is it? Don't do it. Today is the 6th day of the Lunar New Year. Zhejiang West Building should open at noon. Let's go to Zhejiang eat in the West Building. After Tan Shahen finished speaking, she walked to the balcony. After a while, Mrs. Tan also came over. The two stood side by side, looking down anxiously. Finally, they saw a man from Xiangnan walking in from the gate. Mrs. Tan quickly shouted, Nan Nan, Nan Nan. Xiangnan looked up, smiled at them, and started running. The two people hurried back to the room and ran to the door. As soon as they opened the door, Xiangnan had already ran up. Tan Shahen hugged her so tightly that her whole body was trembling. Xiangnan struggled and shouted, Mom, I can't breathe. Tan Shahen quickly let go of Xiangnan. Mrs. Tan hit Tan Shahen on the shoulder, and all three of them left. The three of them walked inside together. Mrs. Tan said, Nanan, why did it take you so long to buy bubble gum? Xiangnan was stunned for a moment, and then he started to say a set of words he saw and thought of on the road. Grandma, didn't I go to the shop to buy bubble gum? When I got outside the gate, I saw a group of people dancing dragon lanterns. They were dancing in front of each store. The dragon lanterns were so beautiful. I just followed them and watched. Tan Shahen and her mother looked at each other and smiled bitterly. Lao Tan smiled and shook his head. He walked back to the sofa and sat down again. Since last year, two groups of people have indeed appeared on the streets of Yongcheng. They have made two dragon lanterns. After the Spring Festival, they go to the streets and alleys to dance dragon lanterns in front of other shops and factories. The shops and in the factory, when asking for a profit, they would be given 100 or 200 red envelopes. After taking the red envelopes, they went to the next store. Lao Tan and the others also saw it when they went to find Xiangnan. They all knew in their hearts that Xiangnan must have seen the dragon lantern dancer on the way back and forth, so they made up this story. Oh, that's bad, Xiangnan exclaimed. What's wrong, Nanan? Mrs. Tan asked anxiously. I was so busy looking at the dragon lantern that I even forgot to buy bubble gum. Grandma, let me tell you, I will follow the dragon lantern. Mrs. Tan breathed a sigh of relief and said, I thought something was wrong. I didn't buy this bubble gum. I'll buy it later when I go down. Yeah, Grandma, wait a minute. Okay, Nan Nan, get ready, let's go out for lunch. Tan Shahen interrupted Xiangnan and told her. Mom, where should we go for lunch? Xiangnan asked. Jakesi Building. That's great, Mom, I like the food from Jakesalo the best. Xiang Nan shouted exaggeratedly, feeling secretly happy. It was great. Neither her mother nor her grandparents suspected that she had gone to see her father. It seemed that the thing she was most worried about could be overcome. Tan Shahen drove the car and took the whole family to Jakesi building. When they arrived at the door of Jakesi building, before they got out of the car, they saw a large sign erected at the door of Jakesi building with thick ink on it. Our store is scheduled to open on the 8th day of the first lunar month, welcome to visit. Tan Shahen scolded, this Yongcheng person doesn't need to eat before the 8th day of the Lunar New Year. Lao Tan choked from behind, people from Yongcheng, whose family has no food during the first month of the year and wants to come to a restaurant to eat. Tan Shahen was about to argue, is this what I want to eat in the restaurant? Isn't it too late to cook at home? KFC, KFC, Mom, look, KFC, Xiang Nan shouted. Tan Shahen looked forward, and sure enough she saw that the newly opened KFC on the second floor of the grocery store next to the Cultural Plaza was open today. She could see through the glass that there were many people inside. Okay, then we'll have KFC for lunch. Tan Shahen said, and at the same time, she was thinking that it was time to return to Hangzhou. If she stayed in Yongcheng any longer, she would definitely end up having a big quarrel with Lao Tan. Tan Shahen was glad in her heart that she had made a wise decision not to let her parents go to Hangzhou. Otherwise, let alone the chickens and dogs, probably even the stone lions by the Meisi River would not be in peace. Tan Shahen looked at Lao Tan in the back seat through the reversing mirror. Lao Tan looked out of the car with a sullen face, an expression of criticism but not self-criticism. Tan Shahen couldn't help but shake her head slightly. She remembered that when she was Xiang Nan's age, even though she was already a student in the Yongcheng Wu Opera Troupe student class, her favorite thing to do during the holidays, whether in Yongcheng or Jinhua, was to ride on the playing everywhere on Lao Tan's shoulders. Whenever Lao Tan has a performance assignment and he is performing on stage, Tan Shahen's favorite thing to do is to hold his teapot with both hands and cover it with her hands, for fear that the tea in the teapot will be too cold and irritate her throat. As for Lao Tan, when he got backstage, even if there was a big deal, he would put it aside first. The first thing he did was definitely come over, pick up the teapot in Tan Shahen's hand, take a sip, and touch her with his hand. Head. Tan Shahen sighed secretly. She couldn't remember when she started to become estranged from her father, and finally became incompatible with each other. Thank you 1390-628-1900 for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1142. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao returned to the company. Su Qiaxin had already arrived. The four of them were eating. When he saw them, Zhao Zhigang shouted, "It's just the right time. The boss lady ordered so many dishes, and we were worried about not being able to eat them." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "I'm worried that you guys will eat us up and there will be nothing to eat. We will starve to death." Ji Ling quickly stood up and served Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao food. Xiao Zhao said, "We will do it ourselves." Ji Ling said, "Bring the second bowl by yourself. Those who are about to starve to death should save their energy now." Everyone laughed. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were not polite. They sat down and ate half a bowl of rice. Zhang Chen then told Su Qiaxin that the craft sheets for Zhao's Higang and Zhao's Hailong had been written. "You should check each style. Don't argue with Jessica. There are discrepancies between theirs." Su Qiaxin said yes. "By the way, old Tang has prepared the craft list. Let him pass it on to you too," Zhang Chen said. "I went over in the afternoon and I called old Tang. I also want to go over and see if their fabrics and yarn count are correct." Jerry emphasized it. He said that the fabric of the t-shirts must be the same. Just like clothes, they can't be too light or thin, Su Kioxin said. Zhang Chen said yes, you can give a copy of the t-shirt order to Lin Shuwen. No need for translation, Awen will go through Jessica and their requests. Su Kioxin said yes. Zhang Chen remembered it and asked Ji Ling, have you counted Jessica's order this time and how many of them were designed by He Hongmei? Ji Ling nodded and said, senior sister is still amazing. I have calculated that she has designed more than 380,000 pieces. Zhang Chen nodded. Xiao Zhao told Zhang Chen and Ji Ling that they were not allowed to call her and I would tell her when I arrived in Beijing. Zhang Chen and Ji Ling both agreed. Zhang Chen asked Zhao Zhigang and Zhao Hailong, can we start in the afternoon? Both men nodded. About how many people will be here today, Zhang Chen asked. I have more than 300 people here, all from this province and Anhui, Zhao Zhigang said. I have more than 150 here, Zhao Hailong said. There will be more buses tomorrow, from Dangshan, Shuchen, Poyang, and Xiniang. They are all long-distance buses tonight. Zhao Zhigang and Zhang Chen said that these places are where their workers are concentrated. What about Guizhou and Sichuan? Zhang Chen asked. They also set off today, but it will take 2 days to walk in Sichuan and 3 days in Guizhou. They will arrive the day after tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, Zhao Hailong said. Zhang Chen nodded and said yes. The whole thing sounded better than he expected, which made Zhang Chen feel very pleased. He thought of a word, a single move can affect the whole body. Only when a company can move a single move can the whole body be affected. It means that the body of your company is flexible, not a zombie. When moving your whole body, even your most peripheral nerves must be sensitive. Just like them, like old Tang's factory, the people below can get started no matter where they are in the world with just a phone call. It's not like that printing factory where key personnel can say no if you are willing to come here in advance. A factory like that is not a zombie, but a hemiplegia. Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang said, I will go to Shanghai tomorrow and come back the day after tomorrow. If you have anything, just call me. Zhao Zhigang, Zhao Hailong, and Su Kioxin all agreed. By the way, after dinner, Zhao Zhigang and Zhao Hailong, you go back directly. Kioxin, I will take you to Old Tang. They are expanding a new workshop today. I will go and take a look. Su Kioxin said yes. After she finished speaking, she stood up and shouted, I'm done eating. I'm going to copy the t-shirt order. Zhang Chen, Xiao Zhao, and Su Kioxin arrived at Lao Tang's place. There was a lot of commotion there. They asked the management committee about the new one-story factory building they wanted. It was on their 4th floor. The 3rd floor had already been rented. There was nothing they could do. Old Tang and his company occupied the 1st, 2nd, and 4th floors of a factory building. When Zhang Chen and the others arrived, Old Tang was installing equipment in the new workshop with others, and Lin Shuwen was in the dormitory area behind, arranging workers' accommodation. The dormitories in the entire park were concentrated together, which sounded like centralized management, but worst of all, it was chaotic. Workers from dozens of factories live in 8 dormitories, which is actually very difficult to manage. Group fights often occur over disagreements. Although the administrator of the dormitory has tried his best to arrange the workers of the same factory in the same place, it is always not as planned. This kind of thing, as long as it is chaotic at the beginning, it will be chaotic later. You can't just gather people together. Let those who come after you drive away those who come before you. However, as long as each factory does not have independent dormitories, it will not be chaotic at first, but it will be chaotic later, and the difference is not big. The working hours of each factory are different, and the restrooms and bathrooms are shared, so there will definitely be disturbances between each other. The person working the night shift has just gone to bed, and the person working the day shift upstairs has gotten up to go to work, or on the contrary, the person working the day shift is hiding under the quilt. I was sleeping soundly. The person who worked the night shift upstairs took advantage of the midnight snack time and ran back to the dormitory, making a lot of noise. If we are in the same factory, there are leaders above, and everyone can understand and be humble to each other. If we are not in the same factory, they will scold each other at first, and then they will fight. When people from two factories fight, no one will accept the other and participate in it. More and more people came to fight, and in the end, even the bosses of both sides participated in the fight. They would not stop until the police station dispatched police. The kind of boss who doesn't participate in fights will be scolded by the workers, who think that you don't care about the workers' lives and are unwilling to stand up for them. If something happens, you will just act like a coward. It's useless for you to act like a coward. Only then will he be bullied, walk away, and quit. What's the point of following such a boss? What troubles Lin Shuwen is that the building where the female workers' dormitory is already full. Their dozen or so new female workers must live in the male workers' dormitory. In such a chaotic environment, if the female workers are thrown into the male workers' dormitory, then it was almost like throwing a sheep to a pack of wolves. Lin Shuwen felt terrible just thinking about it. Zhang Chen came over to take a look. Lin Shuwen was negotiating with the dormitory manager with a sad face and earnest words. She kept saying thank you, thank you. The dormitory supervisor was also helpless. He said, Miss Lin, we can't do it for the dozen of you. Free up a building? Besides, I just want to move, but there is nothing I can do about it. Where can I get a building? Zhang Chen walked to the dormitory building to take a look. The layout of the dormitory building here is similar to that of their original Wu opera troupe. It also has a staircase in the middle and corridors on both sides. What is better than their Wu opera troupe is that the Wu opera troupe does not even have a bathroom, but here, there is a toilet and a washroom plus bathroom at each end. Zhang Chen counted and found that in addition to the bathroom and washroom, there were 10 rooms on one side. Zhang Chen asked the dormitory manager if one side of the first floor was completely empty. The dormitory manager checked it and told him that in Building 6, all 10 rooms on one side of Building 6 were empty. Zhang Chen and Lin Shuwen said, that's it, rent this side. It doesn't matter if you can't use so much for the time being. It will be used later. After renting, they will partition the side of the corridor leading to the stairs, and put it on the head. In the bathroom, open a door and come out. In this way, it will form an independent area, which is all yours. When Lin Shuwen heard this, she laughed and said, brother, you have a good idea. The dormitory manager was in a dilemma when he heard that it required partitioning and breaking the wall to open the door. I couldn't make the decision, so I had to ask the leader for instructions. Zhang Chen said okay, you call the boss and I will talk to him. The dormitory manager got through the phone call of their leader and told him roughly what happened. The other party objected as soon as he heard it. He said, this is not possible. The dormitory is good, so they won't make a mess. The dormitory manager looked at Zhang Chen in embarrassment. Zhang Chen took the phone over and asked the dormitory manager in a low voice, what is the leader's last name? Fan, said the supervisor. Fan Liwa's Fan, Zhang Chen asked. The dormitory manager thought carefully about what the 3 words Fan Liwa meant. Before he could figure it out, Zhang Chen had already spoken. Hello, Mr. Fan, my surname is Zhang. Isn't it like this now? Female workers can't live in the dormitory, so they have to live here with male workers. As you know, there are differences between men and women. If they live together, there will always be trouble. Convenient place. Then what do you want? Mr. Fan asked. Zhang Chen repeated what the dormitory manager and Mr. Fan had said before, but the other party immediately said no, there was no such precedent. Zhang Chen smiled and said, I know there is no precedent for this, Mr. Fan, no female workers have ever wanted to live with male workers before. We just encountered it now, right? In fact, we don't want to be in such trouble and turn a blind eye. Is it okay to just close one eye and live in it? However, isn't this for safety reasons, just in case something happens? What if something happens and our factory is unlucky, will your management committee also be unlucky? People nowadays are hard to manage. Sometimes, there is no way to do this kind of hard isolation. No way, who wants to have something happen? If something does happen, it will end later and cause a lot of trouble, aren't you right, Mr. Fan? We are also taking precautions before they happen. The other party stopped talking. It seemed that he was a little moved. Zhang Chen continued. Mr. Fan, I've seen the dormitory. I used to work in engineering, and I know a little bit about it. I saw that your dormitory is a frame structure. At the end of the corridor, there is this wall next to the bathroom. It is not a load-bearing wall, and opening a door does not affect the safety of the overall building. Of course, whether it's partitioning or opening the door, we will arrange for people to do it ourselves, and we don't need your management committee to arrange it. Also, if we move out in the future, I promise you, we will definitely restore it to its original appearance. This can be written get into the contract. Zhang Chen's last words finally convinced the other party, and the other party asked, "What's your surname?" "My surname is Zhang," Zhang Chen said. "Manager Zhang, then, as you said, when you move out, restore it to its original appearance." "Okay, Mr. Fan, I'm sure," Zhang Chen said. "Okay, let Xiao Gu answer the phone." Zhang Chen gave the phone to the dormitory manager, and the dormitory manager said, "Mr. Fan, it's me." "Okay, okay, 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 I understand, Mr. Fan, I understand." After hanging up the phone, the dormitory manager and Zhang Chen and Lin Shuwen said, "Our leader agreed, but he said that you need to write a letter of commitment and promise to restore the place to its original appearance when you move out." Lin Shuwen quickly said, "Okay, okay, thank you, we will definitely do it." The dormitory manager took them to Building 6. Zhang Chen and Lin Shuwen said, "You arrange for people to move in first, and I'll call Brother Tan and ask him to arrange for people to come over in the afternoon to see what materials and manpower are needed, and he will come over tomorrow to work." Lin Shuwen said, "Yes, thank you, brother." Lao Tan is still at Erhuo's place. He will wait until Zhang Chen and the others go over tomorrow and meet with them before returning to Hangzhou. Zhang Chen called Lao Tan and told Lao Tan about the matter. Lao Tan said, "Yes, you make up a text message and send me the address, and I will ask Zhang Mushin to send someone there immediately. Thank you for the reward at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. I don't know if anyone asks me, I am a little tin soldier, and I read books every day. Thank you Shifang Xian, Qian Dad, and Fat Smoking Man for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1143. Everything here in Old Tang was arranged. The people sent by Zhang Mushin also came over to take a look, measured the dimensions, calculated the materials, and told Zhang Chen and Lin Shuwen that for this small job, they would send a master and 2 workers. It can be done in 2 days. When Lin Shuwen heard this, she quickly said, "Thank you, thank you. Mr. Zhang, do you not need to order a new door for this door? We can just bring over the old doors dismantled from other places in our warehouse and install them," the other party asked Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, an old door is fine, you can choose a stronger one." "Okay, I understand, Mr. Zhang." After the other party finished speaking, he rode away on his motorcycle. Zhang Chen and Lin Shuwen returned to the workshop and all the equipment that was supposed to arrive was in place. The boss who sold the equipment promised old Tang that they would install all the machines if they worked overtime tonight. Everything in old Tang's place was arranged, and it was past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Old Tang sent Su Qiaxin back to Kiasi, and Lin Shuwen went back to Dehuayuan with Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao. When they arrived at Peach Blossom Spring, Tan Shehen had already arrived, but did not see Xiang Nan. Zhang Chen asked Tan Shehen, where was Xiang Nan? Tan Shehen shook her head. Zhang Chen's mother said, Xiaoshu took Xiangnan to the north to call the 3 people back for dinner, but they disappeared too. I asked Xiao Fang to call again. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed, and Zhang Chen said that there was really an attractive and big project behind it. The 3 of them walked to the garden outside. Xiao Zhao asked Tan Shehen, Sister Shehen, was everything okay afterwards? Tan Shehen said it was okay, but she always felt a little empty in her heart. Why, you are jealous when you run south to see Lao Gui? Zhang Chen asked. No way, I saw Nanan making up lies, her face was not red, her heart was not beating, and she kept saying the same thing, and I felt sad. I am her mother, how could she fool me like this? Tan Shehen frowned. This is a white lie, Zhang Chen said. Tan Shehen, don't say that you didn't lie to Lao Tan and Mrs Tan when you were a child. Anyway, I always did this. Adults and children are not in the same ideological channel. Do you want to completely? How is it possible to be in harmony? Xiao Zhao sighed and said, I would be very sad if Bai Bei fooled me like this. You men don't understand our psychology as mothers. As mothers, you think that children are the flesh that falls off your body, and they should be transparent in front of you, right? Zhang Chen said, but many times, have you ever tried to understand children? If nothing else, Tan Shehen, have you ever asked Xiang Nan about your divorce from Feng Logui? Do you think she is young and doesn't understand anything? But many times, the relationship between people does not require understanding. To Xiang Nan, that is her father, who is different from all other men and more important than all other men. There is no need to understand this. In your eyes, Lao Gui may have some shortcomings, but in Xiang Nan's eyes, Lao Gui is perfect. I don't even know that you are getting divorced and Xiang Nan wants to separate from Lao Gui. I don't know how to secretly go to him alone at night. No matter how many times she has cried, children also have feelings. If she doesn't want Lao Gui and has never cried, that would be terrible. Do you want your daughter to be such a hard-hearted person? The 2 women fell silent. They felt that what Zhang Chen said made sense. Zhang Chen continued, also, Tan Shehen, in all these years, have you ever taken the initiative to ask Xiang Nan whether he misses his father or whether he wants to visit his father? I'm afraid that whenever Xiang Nan talks about Lao Gui, your face will change. Pull it off. Think about it, from her point of view, you think she should miss her father, so how dare she tell you about going to see Lao Gui? Tan Shehen shook her head and said, Zhang Chen, stop talking. Why do you make me feel that this matter is getting more and more complicated? I almost don't recognize my daughter. Zhang Chen smiled and said, of course, in fact, children's emotional world is as rich as our adults, but we adults can easily ignore them. In our eyes, we feel that they should all be simple and transparent. The way we look at them is not much different from looking at a wooden person. We have never tried to see the world from their perspective. I remembered Xiao Zhao said, that year I took Xiang Nan to Yongcheng, and I accidentally asked, Nan Nan, do you want to go somewhere? I thought she was going to the park to play, or I went to the department store to buy toys, and as a result, she told me, Aunt Xiao Zhao, I want to visit my dad. Sister Shehen, really, I never thought that Xiang Nan would say such things. She said this. She must have been thinking about it for a long time. After saying it, she looked like that, you know, just looking at me so pitifully, I couldn't even refuse. If I refused, she would definitely cry immediately. Really, Sister Shahen, I will take her there. Tan Shahen looked at them and said with a wry smile, you are right. This child originally thought it was nothing and thought they would listen to whatever we said. In fact, it may be that they don't even have the ability to refuse. As they get older, they also have their own opinions, and we can't influence them. Yes, what was not a problem in the past will gradually become our problem, Zhang Chen said. We all have to be careful. If nothing else, even now, you have to ask Lao Zhang. He still thinks that half of the things I did were wrong. Only by obeying him would I not take any detours. As for me, I feel that if we don't argue with him and treat all his words as nothing, our relationship will become more harmonious than before. Tan Shahen, you also know that Lao Zhang and I were also at war with each other. Yes, the problems of these two generations are the eternal problems of mankind. As Zhang Chen spoke, Tan Shahen and Xiao Zhao both laughed. Tan Shahen thought of her relationship with Lao Tan. She wondered if she should take all Lao Tan's words as nothing, and just embrace tolerance and embrace as you get older. Will our relationship be better if I don't care about anything with you? Tan Shahen thought about it, maybe it was really like this. He was her father. What could she have to argue with him? Their conflicts often escalated quickly because of each other's words and each other's words. If you say less about a matter of one sentence, everyone's anger will go away. Lin Shuwen walked in from outside. She returned to Peach Blossom Garden before, so she went home first, changed her clothes and touched up her makeup, and then came over to eat. She saw the three of them wandering in the yard and walked over. Zhang Chen's mother walked to the door and saw the four of them. Zhang Chen's mother asked, this Xiao Fang went away, why didn't she come back? Zhang Chen, Xiao Zhao and Tan Shahen then remembered that it was true that Xiao Fang had been gone for a long time. The three of them all laughed. Zhang Chen said, okay, let's go over and see what's in that place. Attractive magic. Zhang Chen's mother shouted, come back as soon as you go, otherwise we will bring the food over. The four of them laughed. The four people walked to the back door of the community and were shocked. They saw several security guards and staff from the property management office standing here. Even their manager was standing here. There was a canvas fire hose connected to the ground. Go outside. When the manager saw Tan Shahen, he ran over quickly. Tan Shahen asked, what's going on here? Test the water, the manager said. Mr. Lu is up there, and he asked to test the water. Tan Shahen wondered, what kind of water to test? Fire drill. The manager shook his head and said no, there is no water in the creek. Mr. Lu is trying to think of a way to make the water in the creek rise. No, the only way is to connect the fire hose and flush it with tap water. Tan Shahen still didn't understand what was going on, but Zhang Chen understood and laughed. Tan Shahen looked at him, then at the top where the manager was pointing, saying that Lu Li was standing on the pole, and cursed softly, what is this childish guy doing again? Zhang Chen's stomach almost hurt from laughing. Xiao Zhao and Lin Shuwen both asked him, why are you laughing? Zhang Chen smiled and waved his hands and said, I can't express it in words. No, 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 I can't explain it in just a few words. You will know after you go and see it. As they were talking, the intercom in the manager's hand rang, and Lu Ligan's voice came from it, number 2, I am number 1. Are you ready? The manager quickly said, number 1, number 2, I am number 2, I am ready here. Number 2, listen to my order. I order to start. Then slowly open the valve. Number 1, number 2 understands, number 2 understands. The four people walked over quickly and reached the creek bay. Zhang Chen saw that the circle of stone blocks here had been built and looked very solid. The quality of the project was good. Helpless, there is no water in the stream now, and I don't know what its actual effect will be. Lu Ligan thought of connecting fire hoses from the community to Shihong and using tap water to cause the water flow in the stream to rise. Try the effect of Shihong. Xiaoshu came with Xiangneng Xiangbei. Seeing such a fun scene, of course he refused to go back. Xiaofang came and told Lu Ligan that it would not be effective at all. You are a fire hose. The amount of water produced is only so much, and the creek is so wide. The water you come out of will flow away quickly, and the water level will not rise at all. Lu Ligan insisted that it would definitely rise. The two of them were not convinced by each other and were wondering how Xiaofang could leave. When Tan Shehen arrived, she scolded, "Are you stupid? You still can't understand such a simple truth." Lu Ligan insisted that it was impossible, as long as there was enough water. Didn't you see that the Xianan River hydropower station opened 2 gates to release floods, and the water in the entire river below rose? How wide are those 2 gates? How wide is the river? In comparison, isn't it about the same as 2 water pipes? When Tan Shehen thought about it, it made sense, but she was also confused. Xiaofang said, "It also has to rise from below. Below you, it leads directly to the Qiantang River." Lu Lepol waved his hand, and then called into the intercom, Number 2, I am number 1, start pumping water, and increase it little by little." The manager replied, Number 2 understands, number 2 understands." The water pipe on the ground began to slowly bulge, and then water flowed from the mouth of the water gun held tightly in the security guard's hand. More and more water flowed out, and finally turned into a water column, shooting into the stream above, and the water pipes on the ground also became hard. The water column surged up the stream, and the stream rose a little. But the scene that Lu Ligan expected, that the stream would rise and flood Shigang, never happened. Zhang Chen squatted on the ground and laughed. Tan Shehen took the walkie-talkie from Lu Ligan's hand and shouted, Number 2, I am Tan Shehen, number 1, turn off the water immediately." Number 2 understands, number 2 understands, I will shut you down immediately, Mr. Tan. Lu Ligan scratched his head and asked Xiaofang, from Zhejiang University, "Tell me, how can we make the stream water rise?" Xiaofang smiled and said, "It's simple, 10 water pipes are enough." "Thank you for the tip from the third one from top to bottom, 131 on the shore." "Thank you Zonkai 727, the frivolous, non-drinking old cat for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1144. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao set off from home at around 8 o'clock in the morning and arrived in Songjiang at around 10 o'clock. They would go to Shanghai after having lunch in Songjiang. Lao Tan and the second-hand couple were already ready. When Zhang Chen and the others were still on the road, the second-hand man kept calling and asking where they were. When he learned that they had passed the Daeun toll station, the second-hand man called. He said, "Okay, there is still a little way to go, let's start cooking." When Zhang Chen drove up, Ergo and Lao Tan stood at the gate. Zhang Chen slowed down the car and passed slowly. Ergo patted the hood of Zhang Chen's Audi A8. Zhang Chen rolled down the window and asked, "How is this car? Can this car come in?" The second-rate guy nodded repeatedly, "This is okay, this is okay." By the time Zhang Chen and the others arrived at Erhuo's living room, a table full of dishes had been laid out. The office and Erhuo's home are in a 3-story building just outside the gate. Today, Zhang Chen is here for the first time. He wants to go around the entire logistic space first. Erhuo cursed. "You kid, what's so interesting about this freight station? It's just the warehouse and the cement floor. Eat first, and I'll go with you after you finish the meal. Otherwise, the food will be cold by the time we get back." After Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao sat down, Xiao Zhao looked at the food on the table and asked his wife Xiajun, is it convenient to buy food here? Before Xiaojun said anything, Huo smiled and said, it's convenient. It's convenient to buy anything here. It's in this courtyard. Is there any food to buy in this yard? Zhang Chen was surprised. There is nothing in this yard, as long as you can imagine it, Huo said. Lao Tan and Zhang Chen explained that in this logistic space, the delivery units for several major supermarkets in Shanghai are here. All things are delivered here first and then distributed to the supermarkets, whether they are for food or not. There is a warehouse that specializes in delivering vegetables, so even vegetables are available here. Zhang Chen understood. He looked at the second-rate guy and joked, you turn around and sweep them all away. Buy, they are all bought, Huo said, they all want to give it to me, but I don't dare to ask for it. I just ask them to buy it. Lao Tan nodded and said, in this regard, the second-rate people have done a really good job. They really don't take advantage of the masses. Okay, I'm aware, Zhang Chen said with a smile. Don't fall for their tricks if you realize it, the second-rate guy said. Zhang Chen became interested and asked, why would he still be fooled? Of course, instructor, I am not related to these guys. They are here and have paid the rent. Why should they give me a small favor? It's not just to get something from me. He gave it to me today for a green onion, I will give him a free ride tomorrow, is that the truth? Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao nodded, thinking that the second-rate guy was right. When I first went to manage the construction site in Haikan, Uncle Tan told me that small favors are all conspiracy, and told me not to be greedy. When I think about it, it's true, isn't that what those guys do? Treat you to dinner and give you gifts. 2 cigarettes. Next time he sends you some bad materials, you will be embarrassed to talk to him. I don't want to be greedy for such a trivial thing. I am forced to raise you. You also know the instructor. I will beat him continuously. As the idiot was talking, he couldn't stop the car. Old Tan glared at him, and he quickly stopped talking, chuckled, and continued. I even paid for that myself. They all want to invite me, but I don't want them. Which one are you talking about? Xiaojun asked. The instructor knows, the second guy said quickly. Zhang Chen and Lao Tan laughed. Xiao Jun and Xiao Zhao looked at them and felt confused. Yes, you idiot, that's what you should do, Zhang Chen said, we won't take any of the benefits that we shouldn't get. If you are short of money, just tell your aunt. No need, no need. We have saved a lot of money. If we are short of money, we are not in Haikan. I am saving money now. As the second-rate guy said, Lao Tan and Zhang Chen both smiled and shook their heads. They knew that second-rate dealers were indeed very expensive in Haikan. Huo asked Xiao Zhao, Aunt, are you leaving after dinner? Xiao Zhao nodded and said yes, Xiaomi is still waiting for us. That won't work. Auntie, you must help me, the second-hand guy said. Xiao Zhao asked, what can I help you with? You help me go to the finance department to check, Huo said, I am not afraid of dealing with these messy people outside, but when I get to the finance department, my head is big, I don't understand those things. Xiaojun, she also reminded me, she said, that even though I don't understand, I have to pretend to understand when I get to the finance department, otherwise, people will fool you. Xiao Zhao smiled and said, Xiaojun is right. Yes, but I just don't understand, Huo said, so Aunt, you must help me check to see if they are fooling me. Also, I thought about it, it's best for everyone every month, the company sent someone over to check and see if they had fooled me. Xiao Zhao thought about it and felt that what Huo said made sense. Although the financial system here was connected to the Hangzhou Financial Center, and Zhao Jingjing and the others would routinely check the various reports here every day, those things were, after all, just it is not clear whether what is on the books corresponds to the actual documents, including whether there are any problems with the documents themselves. Xiao Zhao said okay, then we will leave later and go to the finance department before leaving. The second-rate guy said okay, then let me thank Auntie first. Also, Auntie, when you go in, don't smile like this, but look like that. What does it look like? Xiao Zhao asked. That's right, it's like checking from above to scare them, the second guy said, and everyone at the table laughed. Really, Auntie, if you scare them, they will be very careful and don't dare to mess around. After all, we have a lot of cash transactions here, Huo said, let them all be careful with me. Zhang Chen was surprised. He asked, all rental transactions are not direct transfers. How come you have so much cash here? The guest house, restaurant, loading and unloading fees, and delivery fees are all in cash. There are indeed a lot of cash transactions here every day, and they are very large. Boss, do you know too much? If I want to fool you, don't you know everything? Don't know, Xiao Zhao asked Zhang Chen, and everyone laughed. After dinner, Lao Tan accompanied Zhang Chen to the logistics base, and Huo accompanied Xiao Zhao to the finance department. After walking inside, Zhang Chen realized that the 200 acres of land was actually so big. The parking lot in the middle alone was as big as 5 or 6 basketball courts. Lao Tan and Zhang Chen said that there were 20 or 30 container trucks at the same time. No problem waiting here for loading and unloading. Zhang Chen smiled and said, you can't tell this from the drawings. The warehouses in the base have 1 floor and 2 floors. Lao Tan told him that the 2 floors are cold storage and the one on the first floor is an ordinary warehouse. There is also a 3-story house like the office building. Zhang Chen walked over and saw that the first floor was a restaurant of 200 to 300 square meters, with a kitchen next to it. The second and third floors were guest houses. It was lunchtime now, but the restaurant there were not many people inside, only about 70% to 80% of the seats were occupied. It was not what Zhang Chen imagined, and it was different from the canteens in their Sanbao or Kiasi. The two of them were walking and chatting. Lao Tan said to Zhang Chen with emotion, I've been staying here for the past few days to see that these idiots have indeed matured. They know how to use their brains when encountering things, but how can they still use their brains, soon? As Lao Tan said this, he laughed, it's a bit brainy and a little crooked, but if you think about it carefully, it's very effective. Zhang Chen also laughed and said, I have discovered this a long time ago. When we think about problems, we all think about how to be as comprehensive as possible. As a result, we think too much and ignore too much. This second-rate guy, when he thinks about a problem, he seems to think about the result first, and then thinks about the solution. The purpose is very direct, but the method is all kinds of strange. Yes, that's what it means, Lao Tan agreed. By the way, are they two okay? I mean Huo and Xiaojun, Zhang Chen asked. Okay, this guy, the bastard, seems to be a bit chauvinistic, but he is really good to his wife, from the bottom of his heart. Sometimes I look at him and don't quite believe it. This isn't that bastard from Heiken who can't control his lower body all day long. When Lao Tan said this, Zhang Chen laughed. He remembered and said, maybe it's really tied up down there. Old Tan laughed. The two of them walked around for more than 2 hours, and occasionally went into other people's warehouses to take a look. When they walked back to Huo's office, they found that Xiao Zhao was well and sitting here. Zhang Chen asked Xiao Zhao, how was it? Did you scare them? I was scared, Xiao Zhao said with a smile. What's wrong? Zhang Chen asked. The guest house here actually has an occupancy rate of 172%, Xiao Zhao said. 172, Zhang Chen was startled, how did you do it? Hourly rooms, they offer hourly rooms. Within 5 hours, you can pay by the hour, 30 yuan an hour. Xiao Zhao said, this is the most popular thing for these drivers. You think which driver will sleep all night when he gets here, but which one does not need to sleep for a few hours, so their occupancy rate is very high. The most important thing is yes, the demand for hourly rooms has exceeded normal accommodation. A room is usually sold after 2 or 3 part-time rooms for 1 or 200 yuan, and then sold as normal accommodation for 200 yuan, so it is 172% housing rate. Zhang Chen understood, and he asked the second-rate guy, "How did you come up with this crazy idea?" The second-rate guy chuckled, "When we go for a massage, aren't we all calculated by the hour? This hourly room is the most cost-effective. We can go in and take a shower and sleep for 2 hours before leaving. We only need to change the sheets and towels. This room it can be sold again." Also, "Do you know how much their restaurant did in January?" Xiao Zhao asked. "How much?" 50,000, 80,000, Zhang Chen asked. "More than 420,000, Xiao Zhao said. Ah, this time, even Zhang Chen was frightened. He asked, "Is that the restaurant, the second-hand one, the one downstairs in the guest house?" "Yeah, it's not that one, which one else?" "We are just a restaurant like this," Huo said with a proud smile, "but the business is so good that it can't be stopped. It's hard not to make money. Business is good. It's just such a small restaurant, less than half the size of our 3 forts. I looked in front and saw that it's not full yet, because there are few people in the first month," Zhang Chen asked. "It's always like this, it's always like this," Huo said. Zhang Chen asked, "Then how did your sales come about? Is it fictitious?" "Of course they are raised by force," said the second-hand guy. "Thank you to the wooden people and book friends 202002260912496992 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1145. Instructor, when I have the most people here during the day, there are more than 800 people here, and when I have the least time at night, there are more than 200 people. Instructor, do you think I should do so many? There are still few in January, and in February, in the middle during the Spring Festival, my restaurant will definitely not only sell 420,000 yuan. As the second-rate guy said, Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment. He shouted, "Wait, second-rate guy, you said there are more than 200 people here at night. What's going on? Loading and unloading team, the trucks are not stopping here. I don't know when they will come. They have to be unloaded when they come. My loading and unloading team is working 24 hours a day. Of course, there are only about 20 people in the loading and unloading team. There are delivery drivers, and delivery work is done at night. Also, when you see these warehouses, they have people working in them at night," Huo said. Zhang Chen said, "I understand that there are people working in this warehouse during the day. I went in front and saw many people in the warehouse, labeling each item and printing supermarket barcodes. Who else is doing this at night, Liv? Those fresh products are shipped in one piece. When they arrive here, they have to be packaged in the cold storage. If they are not packaged separately, how can they enter the supermarket? Including those lamb rolls and beef rolls, they are also planed here. Many of them are prepared here. Fresh products must be delivered on the same day and sold out on the same day, so they are usually packaged in the cold storage at night and delivered in the early morning, including vegetables." Zhang Chen nodded and understood. In such a large logistic space, as long as there are a few people working in each warehouse, the total number will be quite large. Of course, there will be more during the day. Zhang Chen still had a question. He asked the second-hand guy, "You said that at the most, there were more than 800 people eating. How can you seat them in your restaurant?" "Of course it can be seated," Huo smiled, "only a fool would build such a big restaurant. Every square meter of my house here is worth money and can be rented out. If I want to have such a big restaurant, then it's better to rent it out as a warehouse. Tell me, how can you sit down in such a small restaurant? Zhang Chen asked curiously. If you set the meal time between 11:30 and 12:30, then more than 800 people will come, and of course they won't be able to sit down. My restaurant is open 24 hours a day. What are you talking about? When the time comes and everyone has food to eat, who will come at the same time? Some people come for lunch at 10 o'clock, while others come after 2 o'clock. He knows that there will be food at all times, and he is not in a hurry. He will not run to the canteen as soon as the o'clock comes. He will definitely wait for the work at hand to be finished before coming to eat. There are 800 people. If you concentrate on if you eat within half an hour, it will definitely be crowded. If you are forced to feed it for 3 or 4 hours, it will be scattered, so where will it be crowded? As the second-rate guy said, Zhang Chen couldn't help but slap the table and shouted. Not bad, you idiot. This is a really good idea. If there is not enough space, just extend the meal time. This is a different angle to solve the problem. It is very inspiring. Our factory can do the same. Zhang Chen turned around and said to Lao Tan, it seems that I am that fool. Every factory has built such a big restaurant, and half of it can be used as a workshop. Lao Tan nodded. He also thought that the second-rate idea was indeed a good one. Xiao Zhao thought of a question, and she asked, Secret, will the kitchen chef have any objections to you doing this? What do they think? If I can serve more than 800 people at one meal at the same time, I will need at least 5 chefs and a dozen helpers, Huo said. Now I can only serve more than 200 people at the same time, and 1 chef, 2 helpers are enough. 3 shifts, there are fewer people than that. I will give them more bonuses for the money saved, so they shouldn't be too happy. Zhang Chen thought about it for a while, and realized that this was true. It seemed that what he said before was right. This idiot didn't have so many fancy ideas when thinking about things. He came up with the idea all at once. By the way, second-hand guy, you said before that the turnover in February will be higher than in January. Why? There are more people, Zhang Chen asked. Huo smiled and said, there are not many people here, but there are more people eating. Didn't we just open in January? Now, our restaurant has become famous. Those truck drivers all know that we have 20. There was delicious food for 4 hours, but those who originally brought dry food stopped bringing them, and those who used to eat in the expressway service area stopped eating. They endured it and rushed to our place to eat. These truck drivers have high incomes, but they don't dare to delay on the road, let alone drink. When they get here, they give the car keys to our loading and unloading team, and he can just forget about it, relax, and just make 2 dishes. Drink some wine and go upstairs to sleep for a few hours. When he wakes up, the car has been unloaded. How happy will he be? Let me tell you, what one driver eats is almost equal to what 4 or 5 other people eat. If he has a good meal with us, he can take care of the next meal as he pleases, so the burden is not much increased. Zhang Chen laughed and scolded, you idiot, you have even thought about this. How do you get your crooked brains to work? I chatted with them. I went to find out what you wanted, and I gave it to you. These drivers were forced to do something. They were bored all the way. When someone chatted with them, they said everything to you. Instructor, I am don't dare, otherwise we will make a fortune. Let me tell you, do you know what these drivers ask for the most? The second-rate guy looked at him and smiled slyly. Zhang Chen understood in his heart and scolded, secret ass, don't mess around. Don't worry, instructor, I don't dare to do this illegal thing now, otherwise I will go to jail. I will sit in jail for a few years. When I get out, my wife will run away and my son will call someone else daddy. Then I won't be at a big loss already. As the idiot said, Zhang Chen, Lao Tan and Xiao Zhao all laughed, and Lao Tan scolded, "I'm relieved that you can settle accounts like this. Of course, uncle, it turns out that I am alone and can have no control over heaven and earth. Now that I have a family, I am less courageous." After saying this, the second-rate guy sighed. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Why, do you think you have lost money?" The second-rate guy shook his head and said, "I'm thinking about that Xiao Wu. If only he had a family earlier, his courage would definitely be reduced. Instructor, Xiao Wu is such a good person. It's such a pity." "Yes, I often think of him." Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were silent. Zhang Chen nodded. This topic was too heavy, so Xiao Zhao changed the subject. She asked Huo, "Just relying on the driver, your restaurant's performance can increase a lot." No, and it depends not only on the driver, but also on the people inside," the second-rate guy said and started laughing. Xiao Zhao was surprised. She asked, "Didn't you say that the number of people here hasn't increased?" "Yes, it has not increased, but the number of meals has increased. People who used to eat 3 meals a day can eat here at all times, right? Among them, they will come to eat bowls of noodles or something, and it has become 4 or 5 meals a day. They all do physical work and get hungry quickly." Zhang Chen and the others all laughed. If there was such a restaurant, ordinary people would really act like this. Huo said, "Those working here are scolding me, saying that their wages have been defrauded by your canteen and they are forced to feed me. You don't have to eat? It's not like I can't control my mouth. I'm too lazy to give them a hum." Zhang Chen and the others couldn't help but laugh. Zhang Chen said, "That's right, you're a second-rate guy. I didn't expect you to have a good business acumen. Fu's business acumen is all learned. We don't have the McDonald's distribution center here. Their McDonald's store in Shanghai is open 24 hours a day. I went to see it with them and saw that the business was pretty good. I thought, why can't I do the same? There are people here 24 hours a day, and they have no place to eat in the middle of the night, so everyone can only make instant noodles to eat. I'm going to open a restaurant, but it's an exclusive operation. It has more regular customers than other restaurants with a stall, so I gave it a try, and the business turned out to be very good. Now that I've tasted the benefits, I've come up with more ideas." Huo told Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen nodded, "Being able to learn is also your ability. Many people can't even learn. By the way, you idiot, what else do you have in mind?" Zhang Chen asked. "Did you see that there is an open space when you come in through the gate?" Huo asked. Zhang Chen nodded. "I plan to build 2 dormitories here. Many of the people here rent houses to Lao Songjiang. It is very inconvenient to come and go every day. I will build them here, surround them with walls, and open the door to the outside. Open, this way it is next to the warehouse, but not connected to the warehouse. Many units will rent it, so the supply will definitely exceed the demand," Huo said. "Since we are all here, why should we build a wall?" Xiao Zhao asked. "He knows how to steal things. This goes directly from the warehouse to the room. Those with unclean hands and feet will definitely steal things into the room. With my partition, he has to go through the gate to enter and exit. There is a security guard at the gate. No matter what, he doesn't have the courage. It's so big," Huo said. Xiao Zhao nodded, understanding. "And, how is the finance department here?" Huo asked Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao said it was good and she did things in a very standard way. "I talked with the manager Ren and found that she is still a very serious and responsible person." The second-rate guy laughed and said, "That's good. It means I didn't see the wrong person, so I feel relieved." Zhang Chen heard something in the second-rate guy's words and asked, "What other stories does this manager have?" "There is no story. My husband died, I was laid off from a factory, and I have a son who is still in high school. When we went to recruit, other units thought she was too old. I felt that such a person Hui cherished the opportunity to work, so he recruited her. Huo said. She can do it. Except that she is not very familiar with computers and financial software. She is good at everything else and is very experienced, Xiao Zhao said. I will send Zhao Jingjing over next time to give them training. That's great, Auntie, the second-rate guy yelled. At around 4 o'clock, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were leaving, and Lao Tan was walking with them. The two cars arrived at the entrance of the Shanghai-Hangzhou Expressway in Songjiang. Zhang Chen went to the left, heading to Shanghai, and Lao Tan went to the right. Return to Hangzhou. Zhang Chen continued to drive on the highway. He said to Xiao Zhao, "Did you see that your nephew is pretty good, right?" Xiao Zhao smiled and said, "I didn't expect that he would do so well." Zhang Chen said, "This man, even if you are a genius, if you only complain about others and others every day, act like you are not recognized for your talents, as if the whole world owes you, then you are a waste and useless. On the contrary, even if you not very smart, but as long as you are willing to work hard and do it seriously, if you keep doing it, you will get enlightened. Thank you for the rewards of I don't know anyone who asks, Dal Tin Soldier, and reading books every day. Thank you to user 267124206, book friend 20190110118025224314, and Ji Unseong 11 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1146. Zhang Chen sent Xiao Zhao to Pudong Airport. Pudong Airport was just opened in September last year. It was the first time for both of them to go there. They were both excited to see such a beautiful and big new airport. The distance from the North Tower of Jinjiang Hotel where they stayed to Pudong Airport was twice as long as that to Hongqiao Airport. Since it was their first time, the two of them set off more than 3 hours in advance, but unexpectedly, there were more people on the road than they did. Much smoother than expected. Unlike going to Hongqiao Airport, you have to go through the most congested section of the city. The distance is not far, but it takes a lot of time. It took them almost the same time as going to Hongqiao Airport, a little more than an hour, and arrived at Pudong Airport. It seems like it has been a long time since Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao had the opportunity to travel alone. Last night, when they were walking hand in hand on Huihei Middle Road, they felt a little entangled. Today, Zhang Chen went to the airport to see Xiao Zhao off. The two of them even more reluctant to give up. Because they had to rush in the morning, they walked from the hotel in a hurry. When they got here, after Xiao Zhao completed the check-in formalities, there were still more than 2 hours before the plane took off, so they couldn't bear to part ways. Although it was only about 10 o'clock, and although they knew that lunch would be served on the plane later, they still decided to have lunch together. The two of them were dawdling at the airport, and when they had 40 minutes left, they had to break up. Zhang Chen sent Xiao Zhao to the security check, and Xiao Zhao repeatedly told him to drive back alone. Pay attention to safety and don't drive too fast. If you are tired, now, just take a nap in the service area, got it? Zhang Chen nodded. When he was approaching the security checkpoint, Xiao Zhao said with a sad face, "Honey, I can go to Beijing again tomorrow, and we can stay in Shanghai for another day." Zhang Chen coaxed her, saying she was going anyway, so she should go early and come back early. Okay, Xiao Zhao pouted and said, "Then you have to promise me to drive slower when you go back alone, and go to the service area when you are tired." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "You have said this for the 16th time. Are you annoyed with me?" Xiao Zhao asked. Zhang Chen said no, he meant that I had remembered it 16 times. Xiao Zhao chuckled and said, that's pretty much it? Zhang Chen stood there, watching Xiao Zhao pass the security check, turned around, waved to him, and then turned around and disappeared. At that moment, Zhang Chen suddenly felt a little regretful. He thought, Xiao Zhao said goodbye before. He should agree to stay one night. Zhang Chen picked up his cell phone and wanted to call Xiao Zhao. At this moment, his cell phone rang. Zhang Chen looked and saw that it was a call from Sanbeo village. He quickly picked it up. It was Accountant Ge from the village. Zhang Chen said quickly. Happy New Year, Accountant Ge. Happy New Year, Boss Zhang. Where are you now, Boss Zhang? I'm in Shanghai, Zhang Chen said. Oh, Boss Zhang went to Shanghai. I wonder when he will come back. I'm at Pudong Airport to see my wife off to Beijing, Zhang Chen said. I'm going back to Hangzhou later. Accountant Ge, what can I do? Okay, I'm back today. That's it? Boss Zhang, our secretary and director, would like to treat Boss Zhang to a casual dinner tonight. I wonder if Boss Zhang has time. Yes, Accountant Ge, I should be the one to invite you. It's the Chinese New Year, but unfortunately I'm busy with orders, and I'm chased by foreigners, so I can't spare any time. I originally wanted to visit you in the next 2 days. But you called Accountant Ge, so I will make arrangements in the evening. How about I invite Accountant Ge and the secretary and director? You're welcome, Boss Zhang. As long as Boss Zhang has time, it's fine. We've already made arrangements here. How about the old place at 6 o'clock in the evening? Accountant Ge asked. Where's the boss lady? That's right, Accountant Ge said. Zhang Chen said yes. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen looked inside the security checkpoint and sighed, but he was a little confused. He knew that it was unusual for Accountant Ge to call him now, and it was definitely not as simple as a casual meal. The old place is the landlady's place. The landlady is the one who opens the restaurant in the secluded street of the Sanbeo village committee and has to go there. The villagers always go there to treat guests. There is not even a sign in front of the store. She is a bit pretty. Boss lady. It was also the first time that the landlord brother took Zhang Chen to the place where he had dinner with the secretary and director. He went there several times later. Every year before the new year, Zhang Chen arranged for Zhao Zhigang to give gifts to relevant people in the village. He asked Zhao Zhigang to give them, not because Zhang Chen was afraid of trouble, but because Zhao Zhigang was the director of Sanbeo. If anything happened, Zhao Zhigang still needs to contact the local village committee directly. If this gift is given, the favor will be taken back, which will make it easier for Zhao Zhigang to continue doing things. So in the past few years, Zhao Zhigang has actually been dealing with a few people in their village committee. Zhang Chen didn't have much direct contact with them, and this year is no exception. It was Zhao Zhigang who took care of things a year ago. Zhang Chen took the elevator down to the terminal building, walked to the parking lot, and got into his car. He picked up his mobile phone and called Zhao Zhigang first to ask him. When he went to the village committee before the Spring Festival, he met the secretary and director. Did they say anything to you? No, just say a few polite words like in previous years, Zhao Zhigang said. What's wrong? It's nothing. Accountant Ge called me just now and asked me to have dinner with him in the evening. I think something must have happened, Zhang Chen said. Hey, it must be. Let us increase the output value this year and earn face for them. What else can we do besides this? Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen thought about it and realized that Zhao Zhigang was right, that was probably all about these things. Whether it was the opening of Zhang Chen's Ban Mutian specialty store on Yan'an Road or the opening of the Dynamic Zone on Stadium Road, when the ceremony was held, Zhang Chen followed Lu Ligan and Meng Ping's wishes and invited the secretary and director of Sanbeo to attend. They had seen that scene and knew that Zhang Chen had a deep background, including a good relationship with Lu Changcheng. Therefore, there is definitely no idea of bullying foreigners like Zhang Chen and others. Including these villages in the suburbs of Hangzhou, whether they are villagers or village collectives, they have relied on foreign companies and renters like Zhang Chen and others in recent years. Guests survive, so the locals still maintain an open mind towards these foreigners and are not exclusive. Nothing bad should happen, Zhang Chen can rest assured, but as for what else, Zhang Chen can't figure it out. Zhang Chen threw the phone aside and decided not to think about it. Xiao Zhao and I worked hard all night last night, and got up early today. Zhang Chen felt a little sleepy at this time, so he decided not to wait until he went to the service area to rest, just in the parking lot of Pudong Airport. Have a good sleep before we talk. He put the seat down, fell down, and soon fell asleep. When Zhang Chen woke up, it was already past 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He took his phone and looked at it. There was a message from Xiao Zhao on it: "Dear, we are about to take off, bye." Zhang Chen smiled, stretched his head to look at the sky, then straightened his seat and started the car. Today is the 8th day of the Lunar New Year. All government agencies have ended their holidays and started to go to work. Only then did Zhang Chen remember why accountant GE called him today. As the most basic first-level organization, the village committee also has its first day of work today. I thought of making an appointment with him right after I got to work, which shows that this is unusual. Not only government agencies have gone to work, but all shops and supermarkets in Hangzhou have also ended their half-day business in the morning and rested in the afternoon and resumed normal business hours today. After passing the toll station on Gentian West Road in Hangcheng of the Shanghai-Hangzhou Expressway, you could see the Metro supermarket below. When Zhang Chen got off the expressway, it was just after 4 o'clock. He did not choose to go to the urban turnoff, but to the Xiaosha turnoff. He wanted to go to Metro first. Since he was going to Sanbeo today, Zhang Chen wanted to visit the landlord and Hagen's mother first. Anyway, it was still early for dinner. Zhang Chen bought 4 bottles of Maotai and 4 strips of Zonghua at Metro, which were given to the landlord's eldest brother and Hagen. He also bought 6 large boxes of youth treasures, which were given to Sister Gihua, the landlord's sister-in-law, and Hagen's mother. Looking at his handbag, there were still red paper bags, so he took out 2 and put them into the pocket of his jacket. They were for Brother Hagen and the landlord's eldest brother's children. Zhang Chen parked the car in front of the landlord's house. The landlord's sister-in-law came out to take a look and screamed. The landlord, Sister Gihua, and aunt all ran out. They were all at home, but Hagen was still there. "Go to work, don't go home." Sister Gihua told Zhang Chen that she also went to the company for a meeting in the afternoon and had just returned home. Zhang Chen and Sister Gihua said, "I heard from Gangzi and Tan Shahan that your performance is very good. Your Sci-fi management office has just been rated as the advanced in your company, and you yourself have also been rated as the advanced individual, right?" Sister Gihua smiled and said, "Mr. Lu and Mr. Tan took care of me." The landlady pointed to a microwave oven tied with a red ribbon on the table in front of the hall, and said to Zhang Chen, "Did you see it? Osman thus Fragrans put it here to make Hagen angry." Everyone laughed. Zhang Chen said he was ashamed. "We don't have as many units as you and there is no evaluation. Otherwise, Brother Hagen would definitely be advanced." "Oh, I don't know if he would scold me." Everyone laughed again. Zhang Chen saw that the landlord's son, Xiaofeng, and Sister Gihua's son were both there, so he told them, "Xiaofeng, let's go and get my things." The 2 people followed Zhang Chen out and came in carrying the things from the trunk. The landlord brother and his wife and Sister Gihua saw it and complained, "Why did they bring things with them when they came here?" Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Isn't this the first month of the year to be auspicious?" He took out the red paper bag and told Xiaofeng and his brother, "Come on, this is yours." Both of them looked at Sister Gihua, and Sister Gihua said, "If your uncle gives it to you, just accept it." "Thank you, uncle." The two of them accepted the red paper envelope and quickly said, "Thank you, uncle." Sister Gihua asked Zhang Chen, "Where is Xiao Zhao?" Zhang Chen and Sister Gihua said that Xiao Zhao went to Beijing, and I sent her to Shanghai, and she just came back. Sister Gihua sighed and said, "Oh, it's really not easy for you. You are restless during this first month." The landlord brother said to Zhang Chen, "Are you alone? We are going to have a few drinks that night." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "I can't drink. When I was still in Shanghai, Accountant GE called me and said that the secretary and director would treat me to dinner that evening, and I would have to go there later." The landlord was also surprised. He scolded, "Fan Bai Lao Zai Fan, what kind of wine do you want to treat me on GE Zhong's day? I'm not sure, what kind of meal do I want to treat you to on such a day? Thank you for the tip from the third one from top to bottom, 131 on the shore. Thank you Baikan Scholar, me 197900607, Gu Chen, Zipanjiang 1 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1147. Zhang Chen came out of the landlord's house and drove to the factory. When he arrived, he saw their factory car and was picking up a carload of workers from the train station. Zhang Chen walked into Zhao Zhigang's office. When Zhao Zhigang saw him, he shouted, "Boss, you came just in time, I was just about to call you." "What's the matter?" Zhang Chen asked. "It's not easy to handle. It's a bit of a headache now," Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen scolded, "Let's talk about the matter first, and then the headache, otherwise I will wipe your hair with Dixonide, do you think it's okay?" Zhao Zhigang's face turned red, he wanted to laugh, but he finally sighed and said, "Yesterday and today, more workers came back than we expected. The trouble is that they brought many fellow villagers over and said they wanted to work here." "Are they all newbies?" Zhang Chen asked. "That's not true. They are basically skilled workers. Many of them were originally made in Guangdong and Wenzhou. Now the factory business there is not very good, so they came to Hangzhou with their fellow villagers." "That's not good. Aren't we worried about not having enough manpower now?" Zhang Chen said, "You can't make arrangements here anymore." "Of course it can be arranged now, but if it is arranged, what will happen if the old workers who were not notified come back one after another? We can't say that because you were not notified and you did not come in advance, you were fired. Doesn't this make sense?" "Of course," Zhang Chen nodded and said. "This is what bothers me. Why don't I take them in? There is a shortage of people here. I have let go of so many skilled workers. I can't bear to let them go. Why don't I take them in? After 15 years, I don't know what to do. After all the old workers come back, what will happen? If it doesn't go well, there will be a fight," Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen looked at Zhao Zhigang and said, "Then have you ever thought about it? Not only are we short of manpower now, we will also be very tight this year. If you take this opportunity to expand production and open a new workshop, won't everything be solved? You think I don't want to open a new workshop? The question is, where can I get the space, boss?" Zhao Zhigang shouted, "Do you want me to put all the sewing machines on the basketball court?" Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Come on, I just learned a new method. This method was made by a fool. I will let the fool teach you." Zhang Chen sat down and explained how the canteen at Erquo's place was built, and how he used a restaurant that could only seat 200 people to serve 800 people. Zhao Zhigang laughed as soon as he heard this. He said, "This is really a way. We work on a piece rate basis anyway. Workers actually don't care about the commuting time. We also relax the meal time. They can eat at any time they want. In this case, we move the restaurant to a warehouse and turn the current warehouse into a workshop. Zhang Chen said, yes, yes. I even thought about it. Even the current workshop can be run in 2 shifts, with 2 people per machine. In this way, your current more than 1,000 parking spaces will soon become 3,000. Zhao Zhigang's eyes lit up, but he immediately shook his head. He said, that won't work. This is a bad idea. It will cause chaos. Think about it, this worker has to rush out the work in hand. If it takes a long time, he may have to rework. If we get off work later and the people behind us come to work and don't have machines, we'll start fighting again. My supervisor and I won't have time to mediate such disputes every day. Also, if there are 2 people working on one machine, no one will take good care of the machine. If it is used indiscriminately, the mechanics will be overwhelmed. Zhang Chen thought about it and realized that what Zhao Zhigang said really made sense, so he stopped insisting. The second-hand workers are fine, Zhao Zhigang said, then I will take in all the new workers. I will discuss it with the old man later. The canteen will be renovated tomorrow. In this way, when the old workers arrive later, I will also renovate here. About there? Zhang Chen said yes. After discussing this matter with Zhao Zhigang, Zhang Chen looked at his watch and was surprised. As soon as he started chatting with Zhao Zhigang, he forgot the time. It was already 6:05 now. Zhang Chen quickly stood up, walked out of the office, stood in front of the door and shouted, Xiao Sheng. Xiao Sheng didn't know where he responded, and then ran over. Zhang Chen handed him the car keys and said to him, quickly, send me to the Sanbao village committee. The 2 of them quickly got into the car. When they got to the car, Zhang Chen thought that he would probably drink a lot of wine today, so he said, Xiao Sheng, just drive back after you drop me off. I will wait until I have finished my meal and I will detain you. You don't need to call me back. Pick me up directly from where I was dropped off. Xiao Sheng said yes. Zhang Chen arrived at the door of Sanbao village committee building, got out of the car, and decided to walk there. After 2 steps, he saw the store. He was surprised. Not only did the store have a name, but it also had a light box installed. The name of the restaurant is Huihuan Restaurant, and it seems that the proprietress's name is Huihuan. Zhang Chen walked to the door of the store and found that not only were there light boxes outside, but the inside had also been renovated and was much cleaner than before. All 4 or 5 tables in the store were full. When Zhang Chen walked in, a young girl in her 20s saw him and hurriedly came over and said to him, Boss, I'm sorry, it's full now, or you can come back later. Where's the boss lady? Zhang Chen asked. That's me, said the little girl. Zhang Chen was surprised again. Looking at this little girl, she looked very similar to the old landlady. Zhang Chen understood and asked, I mean the old landlady here. It's my sister, the little girl smiled, she can't open it, so let me open it. Zhang Chen nodded, your name is Huihuan. The little girl said yes. Then I'm with accountant Ge, Zhang Chen said. Huihuan protracted, expressing her sudden realization, so you are the boss Zhang they are waiting for. Please come in, they are in the back box. The private room has also opened a separate door, which is completely separated from the kitchen. The entire store seems to have expanded a little further. When Huihuan took Zhang Chen into the private room, Zhang Chen saw that the private room was much larger than before, and there were also a restroom was added. It can be seen from this hotel designated by the village committee that the current life of Sanbao village is much better than before. The people in the box stood up when they saw Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen saw that the 5 people sitting inside were the secretary and director of Sanbao village, accountant Ge, and 2 others whom Zhang Chen did not recognize. As soon as Zhang Chen entered the door, he quickly handed over to them, sorry, I just handled some urgent matters in the factory, so I'm late. Everyone inside laughed and said it didn't matter. The director told Huihuan that the food was ready. Huihuan, after the food was served, come over and have a few drinks with Boss Zhang. Huihuan quickly smiled and said, okay, Boss Zhang has to let me go. The secretary asked Zhang Chen to sit down. As soon as Zhang Chen sat down, the secretary introduced the two strangers to Zhang Chen and said to him, these are Secretary Qiu and Director Zhang from Jasa village. Zhang Chen quickly stood up again and shook hands with them one by one, but he was confused. Jasa village? Where is this Jasa village? Secretary Qiu asked, Boss Zhang, you have never been to our Jasa village, right? Zhang Chen said honestly, I'm sorry, I really don't know where Jasa village is. Secretary Qiu said with a smile, it's not surprising. We are unknown to begin with. We can't compare with their three forts. We are on the edge of Xiaosha development zone, at the end of road number 1, next to the university city, and outside the wall of Hangzhou Normal University. Our village. Zhang Chen had been to the factory of Liu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, in Xiaosha many times, and he still had some impressions of Xiaosha. He asked. Road number 1, is it where Yingbin Road ends, where you turn left on the big roundabout, and there are many small shops on the left? Zhang Chen remembered that the row of small shops were mostly small restaurants, and there was one owned by a Sichuans that served delicious spicy fish. Yes, that's Road 1. At the end of Road 1, at that three-way intersection, don't turn right to Road 2. Go straight to Wenyuan Road. Wenyuan Road is our village from beginning to end, Secretary Qiu explained. Oh, Zhang Chen also made a long sound, expressing his sudden realization. We're at the door, now we're on target, Accountant Ge said with a smile. When the dishes were served, Huifang came up with plates of dishes. Zhang Chen saw that in this restaurant, even the style of the dishes had completely changed. It was no longer the kind of local dishes that were mainly stewed in large pots. But when I looked at the chef, he looked like the kind of person who had attended a chef training class for several months and then spent money to buy a fake certificate. He was trying hard to imitate the dishes in the hotel, but he was just imitating them. The color, aroma, and taste always looked a little bit different. You have to taste them to know the taste, but Zhang Chen felt that it wouldn't be much better. Cooking is just like painting. When you express your skill, it must be all round, with both color and flavor. In fact, these three are indispensable. If the color is not good, either the heat is not enough or it is too much. Yes, how could the fragrance come out? How can you bring up the taste? Even if it is a bowl of home-cooked local food, if it tastes good, the color must be attractive, the so-called red sauce and bright sauce. Sure enough, Huifang and Zhang Chen said, Boss Zhang, please try our chef's skills. Our chef is a first-class chef. Zhang Chen quickly said yes, took a mouthful of Longjing shrimps with chopsticks and put it in his mouth. Not only was the shrimp meat rotten, but there was also a fishy smell, but under the pressure of everyone's gaze, Zhang Chen could only nod his head and say yes. Zhang Chen can guarantee that this so-called first-level chef is still a young boy. They don't know that the chef's qualification examination has a limit on years, that is, based on seniority. No matter how good your skills are, you don't have that many years of experience at the Duntu station. If you come down, you won't be able to reach level 1. However, this young man is still timid. He has not directly bought a special third or special second level certificate. Zhang Chen tried a few other dishes, but they all tasted average. Under Huifang's questioning gaze, he could only nod his head, but what he really wanted to say was that compared with your sister's local dishes, they are far behind. Huifang picked up the wine glass and said to everyone, come on, let me toast you all. Everyone else said, you first respect Boss Zhang, respect Boss Zhang. Huifang turned around, looked at Zhang Chen with a smile and said, Boss Zhang, my little sister, please give me a favor and drink this drink. Zhang Chen quickly said thank you. He picked up the wine glass, clinked it with Huifeng, and drank it all in one gulp. After the wine was filled again, Zhang Chen picked up the wine glass and said to the two secretaries, two directors and accountant Ge, come on, let me toast you all. The secretary of Sanbeo immediately waved his hand, no, no, this won't work. This is not how you drink tonight's wine. Boss Zhang, you can't clear the level with just one drink. If you want to toast, you should toast Secretary Chiu first. Zhang Chen said yes. He walked up to Secretary Chiu with the wine glass in hand. Before he drank, the director of Sanbeo called out, one cup is not enough, Huifeng, please help Boss Zhang. Huifeng stood up and said with a smile, okay, here, Boss Zhang and I are the two youngest. I will accompany Boss Zhang to respect all the eldest brothers. Before anyone else could speak, the secretary of Sanbeo shouted, no, no, there is no big or small on the wine table. Huifeng, what you said is wrong. Please punish yourself with a drink first. Thank you to Zui Feng's Beizai, Dal Tin Soldier, and Daily Reading for the rewards. Thank you to Lao Chantang, Big-Eyed Dragonfly, Tianying 1978, Baikan Scholar, Arongta Culturating, Kingbo, Book Friends 1604190107475505 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1148. After the round of toasts, the secretary said to Huifeng, Huifeng, please go out for a moment and let's talk about something. Huifeng quickly stood up and said, leaders, you are busy. She walked out and closed the door behind her. The director looked at Zhang Chen and said, Boss Zhang, originally, we were planning to talk to you about this matter years ago. Later we discussed it and thought it would be better to talk about it after the new year. Zhang Chen looked at the director's solemn expression, and his heart skipped a beat. He felt that today's matter must be a big deal. He looked at the secretary and the director. The secretary smiled, raised his hand, and said to Zhang Chen, come on, let's eat some food, Boss Zhang, let's talk while we eat. The director raised his glass to Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen quickly raised his glass to him. The director took a sip of wine and continued. Boss Zhang, I remember the first time we had dinner together was here. It can be said that we watched your company grow up in our Sanbeo, just like our own children. Don't talk about you, we are the ones who treat you. Zhejiang half Mutian is also very emotional. In the past few years, you have given us Sanbeo village a lot of face, allowing us to stand tall in front of our superiors and other villages. Including your boss Zhang personally, I think we get along very happily. Therefore, your company is really going to move away. To be honest, from the bottom of our hearts, we are still very reluctant to part with it. Want to move? Zhang Chen was confused. Where did he start talking about this? Zhang Chen thought for a while and finally understood. Had he bought a factory in Kiasi and was building a factory there? The news spread to Sanbeo, which caused the director and others to misunderstand. Zhang Chen quickly said, Director, we have never planned to move. When I came here, I was still discussing with our factory director Zhao about expanding production this year. The one with Jiao is just another project of ours. I know, Boss Zhang, I know that you have plans to take root in our 3 forts, and that you are expanding production every year, so you are reluctant to leave. But now, I'm afraid there is no way. This matter has no excuse in our village. Director, what do you mean? Zhang Chen asked. Boss Zhang, this matter has not been announced to the public yet, but the city has made a decision. If you ask Deputy Mayor Liu, he will tell you. The secretary took over the director's words and said, that is, we have been included in the city's key demolition scope this year. From Wufa village to our Sanbeo village, this entire large area is within the scope of demolition. Ah, Zhang Chen was shocked, and then he felt his head was pounding. His factory in Sanbeo had just been expanded and had not been stable for a few years. The exterior paint of the house was still new and it was about to be demolished. In particular, I have just received a large order from Target, and I am most afraid of any interruptions. Moving the factory is not just a matter of stopping for a day or two. A factory of such a large scale needs to be relocated, and there are many troubles involved. I don't know how many things there are. However, our production tasks this year are very tight. If we cannot complete them, foreigners will have to claim compensation, Zhang Chen said. I know, that's why we have to say hello to Boss Zhang in advance. Isn't this plan unable to keep up with changes? We only got the news before the end of the year, so we were given half a year. As you can see here, the villagers don't know anything yet, and it will take 6 months from mobilization to final relocation, which gives us a huge headache, said the director. The secretary interjected, but the pattern of urban development is like this. We can't do it if we don't obey. No matter how difficult the job is, we have to do it. This is the city. The two of us signed the military order on the spot. We can't do it if we don't sign. Half a year, Zhang Chen asked. The secretary nodded and said, yes, before the end of August, the entire street here and our village building must be demolished in place. Zhang Chen's mind buzzed. This means that it has not actually been half a year, and in the meantime, it is spring and summer, the peak season for their cotton and linen clothing sales. In addition to completing orders from Target, Lin Shuwen's orders from Taiwan and domestic orders are also very tight. The most important thing is that they are not a small processing factory, with more than a dozen machines, they can be moved at any time. It is necessary to find a factory building with tens of thousands of square meters, just install the wires and cables inside, install the lights and power sockets of each parking space in place, distribute large and small steam pipes to each workshop and each team, and install boilers. And how many months will it take to build a generator, make cutting beds and arrange staff dormitories? These are all things that come later. The premise is that you must first have such a large factory building. A factory building of 10,000 to 20,000 square meters is not enough. The factory must also have dormitories that can accommodate thousands of people. Garment factories are labor-intensive enterprises, which are different from ordinary enterprises. Workers like Laokuning are a special case. Others have to pay for food and accommodation, and there is a large demand for dormitories. Secretary Chiu looked at the secretary and director of Sanbeo. He said to Zhang Chen, Mr. Zhang, as soon as we heard the news, the village immediately conducted research and attached great importance to this matter, so today we asked them to introduce you. We hope that your company, Mr. Zhang, can settle in our village. Director Zhang said, yes, our JASA, although compared with their Sanbeo, is a little further from the city, we still have a location advantage, that is, we are next to the Xiaosha development zone, and in the development zone inside, there is not much difference, and transportation and supporting facilities are complete. In addition, if Mr. Zhang's company can settle in our village, we will definitely have preferential treatment in land transfer. Moreover, Mr. Zhang's enterprise is in the construction stage, and our two village committees will definitely provide strong assistance to make Mr. Zhang feel at home. Secretary Chiu and Director Zhang are quite good. Boss Zhang. The most important thing is that they are very optimistic about your company, Boss Zhang. The relationship between this company and the local government is not that of Yuhe regarding the water relationship. It is still very important to have the support of local leaders, said the director of Sanbeo. By the way, Boss Zhang, the secretary of Sanbeo, said, don't worry about one thing. As I said before, we still have feelings for each other. We also recognize Boss Zhang's character and think he is trustworthy. Don't worry, Boss Zhang, we will definitely strive for the best demolition conditions for you, and if you actively cooperate with us, we won't be confused. The two secretaries and the two directors were singing and talking in harmony. Although Zhang Chen kept a smile on his face, his mind was already a mess. Everything else was unimportant. He knew one thing, that is, the factory in Sanbeo could not be saved. No matter how many difficulties they faced, no matter how tight their production tasks were this year, they had to get out of Sanbeo before the end of August. Zhang Chen smiled bitterly in his heart. One of the big reasons why he had bought land to build factories in recent years, including buying a sales department, was that he felt from the bottom of his heart that renting was definitely not as good as buying. Renting meant that people wanted you to get out, so you must get out, buy something different. What you buy is yours, no one can tell you to get out, and you can stay for a long time. The result is still the same. Whether in Shanghai or Hangzhou, whether it is for the implementation of religious policies or the reasons for urban development, when you are told to get out, you must get out. The only difference is that originally the landlord may have negotiated with the local government, but now it is up to you to negotiate. However, the deadline for getting out has already been set, and no one has come to ask you first if this time is okay. Boss Zhang, what do you think of this? Accountant Ge said. Zhang Chen smiled bitterly in his heart. What's going on? Do I have the qualifications to say what's going on? He forced a smile and said. I understand, I have to go back to discuss this matter. Okay. We still have time here anyway, until the end of August. The secretary of Sanbeo said. Zhang Chen almost cursed, you have humming time, but who gave me time? Secretary Chiu said, Mr. Zhang, I hope you will take the time to visit our village in the next 2 days. Zhang Chen said yes, I will definitely go. Zhang Chen felt that he was already a bit like a robot. He had no choice but to respond mechanically to what others said. By the way, Boss Zhang, the secretary of Sanbeo, said, I hope that Boss Zhang can keep this matter secret and don't make it public yet. As you know, our mobilization work has not started yet. Alas, the work in the countryside now, it's not as easy as it used to be. I can't give the people below too much time to think about it. I'll come up with all kinds of crooked ideas after just thinking about it. Zhang Chen said for sure. Okay, we've finished what we need to talk about. Let's have a good drink, the director of Sanbeo said. Accountant Ge immediately stood up, opened the door, and called, Huifang. Huifang walked in, and Accountant Ge said that she would drink with Boss Zhang. That's right, let's toast to Boss Zhang again, the director said. Huifang raised her glass and looked at Zhang Chen with a smile. For some reason, Zhang Chen suddenly felt sympathy for her. Zhang Chen thought to herself that she must not know that this place is about to be demolished and she took the family's money. Some of them may have borrowed money, and came here with the dream of getting rich, hoping to seize the opportunity and start their own business. She invested all her money to carry out such a big renovation and decoration here, but she didn't know that she would be here for up to 6 months. She had been sentenced to death and had to get out of here and wait for the demolition. When she was crushed, her negotiating capital and bargaining chips with the other party were even worse than her own. Although she looks pretty and well behaved, and seems to be able to handle herself easily among men, in fact, in the end, she will find that no one can reach out and give her a hand. It's livid. Boss Zhang, please show me your face, Huifang said. Zhang Chen quickly said thank you, touched her, and drank it all in one gulp. Huifang, ask your first-level chef to come in and offer a toast to Boss Zhang, the director called. Zhang Chen saw the first-level chef. As Zhang Chen thought, he was just a young man in his 20s, about the same age as Huifang. The two stood side by side. The secretary shouted. Come on, you two, Let's toast to Boss Zhang together. Oh dash, it turned out that they were still a couple. Zhang Chen suddenly realized that he felt that the wine today seemed to be particularly high, and he was a little dizzy. The two people opposite raised their glasses. Thanks for the tip. I don't know whoever asked, but I ranked third from top to bottom, and 131 on the shore. Thank you for your monthly votes from Yuju, Zongkai 727, and Daibao. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1149. The meal didn't last long. Zhang Chen drank until the end and said that he had just driven back from Shanghai today and was really tired. He couldn't handle the wine. I would treat you to another day. Another day. The others didn't try to persuade me anymore. Anyway, the purpose of today was not to drink. Zhang Chen couldn't drink, mainly because he was worried. In addition, the food was not fragrant, so the wine became tasteless as he drank it. Xiao Sheng picked up Zhang Chen at the door of Sanbao Village Committee and asked him, Mr. Zhang, do you need me to take you back to Peach Blossom Spring? Zhang Chen said no need, go to the factory first, I'll sit for a while and then drive back by myself. I didn't drink much today. Xiao Sheng agreed and drove to the factory. Zhang Chen arrived at Zhao Zhigang's office. Zhao Zhigang and Lao Fu were discussing how to renovate the kitchen and how to adjust the staff's working hours. When they saw Zhang Chen coming back, the two of them kept talking to him. Zhang Chen was sitting there. I felt like I didn't listen to a word, I just drank my tea. Zhang Chen said to Lao Fu, Master Fu, can you make me a bowl of pickled vegetables and shredded pork noodles, super spicy? The old man looked at him and laughed. What are you having for dinner? Are you hungry when you come back? Zhang Chen smiled bitterly and said, Hungmen banquet. The old man stood up and went out. Zhao Zhigang wanted to continue talking to Zhang Chen about the reconstruction plan. Zhang Chen felt that his head was getting big, so he quickly stopped Zhao Zhigang and told him, just do it, I agree. What I'm thinking in my mind is that even if it's only a few months, this place must be expanded, otherwise it won't be able to cope with it. Zhao Zhigang could see that Zhang Chen's face and mood were not very good. It must be related to the meal he had eaten earlier. Zhao Zhigang asked, what did they ask you for? Zhang Chen shook his head. He wanted to say it, but he couldn't, especially not in Sanbao. That would not only disturb the peace of the villagers, but also the peace of the factory. Especially now that he was still in a mess, how could he solve it? When there was no plan for this matter, he couldn't say anything. It's nothing, just chatting. In the first month of the year, it's also a way to keep in touch with each other, Zhang Chen said. Zhao Zhigang stared at Zhang Chen for a while, knowing that if someone called Zhang Chen over at this time, it would definitely not be a nonsense, but since Zhang Chen refused to talk, he couldn't ask more questions. I also told Zhao Zhilong about this plan. Zhao Zhilong can do the same thing, Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen nodded and said okay, just go ahead and make sure there are no mistakes when placing target orders. I understand, Zhao Zhigang said. The old man brought Zhang Chen a bowl of noodles and added 2 poached eggs. Zhang Chen smiled and said, do you think I am a pig that can eat so much? But look at the orange-red chili sauce floating on the noodles, the color is attractive. The old man smiled and said, try it first. What I added is the chopped pepper sauce that Director Zhao and the others brought back. It's very delicious. If you eat it, you might be able to turn it into a pig. Zhang Chen laughed and took a bite. It was indeed delicious and spicy. Zhang Chen nodded and said, not bad. He ate with big mouthfuls, and it was so satisfying that his face, body, and even the ends of his hair were covered in a layer of sweat, making him feel as if he had just woken up. He really finished the bowl of noodles. After eating, he realized that his stomach was bulging. The old man asked him if he wanted more. "No, no, I'm already eating stupidly, but give me some of this chili sauce and I'll take it back." Jiang Chen turned around and scolded Zhao Zhigang as he spoke, "Why are you so damn stingy? You don't give me any of such a good thing." Zhao Zhigang said, "The night before yesterday, I left 2 large cans at your house." Only then did Jiang Chen realize that he had not paid attention, and yesterday, he did not go to Shanghai early in the morning. "That doesn't matter, give me another can and I'll put it in the company office," Jiang Chen said. The old man picked up the keys to the Audi A8 on the table and walked out. When he came back, he told Jiang Chen that they had been put in your car. Jiang Chen sat in Zhao Zhigang's office for more than half an hour. Thinking that Xiao Zhao was not at home, he didn't want to go back to Dehuayuan so early. He thought it would be better to go to the company to discuss the matter with Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen and ask them to help out. Come up with ideas. Jiang Chen can tell them things that cannot be said here. Jiang Chen stood up and felt his stomach felt better. He told Zhao Zhigang, "I'm leaving." Jiang Chen drove the car and drove out of the factory gate. He was about to turn when he saw Huifang standing on the side of the road, waving to him. Jiang Chen stopped the car. Huifang opened the car door herself without waiting for Jiang Chen's greeting. "Sit in the passenger seat. I've been waiting for you here for half an hour," Huifang said. Jiang Chen asked curiously, "What's the matter?" "I have something to ask you," Huifang said. Jiang Chen felt that parked like this at the gate of the factory with a woman sitting in the car, and being seen by others would have a bad impact. He said yes and started the car. When he got to the front, he did not turn left, but turned right. When we got to a road that no one from their factory would pass by, we drove out of the way and then stopped the car. Jiang Chen asked Huifang, "What's the matter?" "I have overheard them talking several times, and they seemed to be talking about demolition. When they saw me entering, they stopped talking. I just want to ask you, are we preparing for demolition at our place?" Huifang asked. Jiang Chen was greatly embarrassed and didn't know how to answer this question. If he said no, he would be lying to others. If he said yes, this was exactly what he couldn't say. Jiang Chen thought for a moment and asked, "If it is demolished, will you suffer a lot?" "Then I'll be miserable." Huifang said, "My sister said that if you open this restaurant here, you can still make money if you are smarter, especially now that there is money in the village and there is no longer credit. She has family affairs and is not ready to open it, so she asked me to open it. When I came, these people in their village told me to let me decorate the store, otherwise, they would not have the dignity to treat me. How do I have so much money? The 50,000 yuan for this decoration was lent to me by my parents from a credit union. Brother Zhang, please tell me, is this place really going to be demolished?" Jiang Chen lamented in his heart and sympathized with her. As he expected, she borrowed money to renovate it, and if this place was demolished. "By the way, does your store have a business license?" Jiang Chen asked. Huihuan said, "No, the people in the village told me about the business license required. Most of the shops on this street, as long as they rent houses in the village, do not have business licenses. Moreover, I was worried about this, so I ran there by myself. I asked the industrial and commercial office, and they told me that they couldn't get a business license there because it was an illegal construction. People in the village and my sister said that if you don't need a business license, the village will take care of it and the industrial and commercial office will not take care of it. It's true that the director and the director of the industrial and commercial office had dinner together in our store that day, and I even talked to the director after drinking. The director didn't say anything and asked me to do it well. That's when I became bolder." Jiang Chen shook his head secretly. He felt that Huihuan was dead. The demolition was an act of the municipal government, not the village. The Hangzhou city government has two red lines for demolition, that is, for all demolished business households without business licenses, decoration compensation and relocation fees can only be based on the minimum standard. The compensation standard is lower than the cost price, and many projects cannot include it. If it is in an illegal building, no compensation will be given. In other words, if the house is demolished, Huihuan will not receive a penny in compensation. Last year, there was a large-scale demolition in Hangzhou. These three forts were probably avoided because they were too remote. If they were next to the city, like Sancha village, they would have been demolished long ago. Brother Zhang, can you tell the truth to me? Huihuan asked. The more Zhang Chen knew, the less he dared to tell her the truth. If he told her, yes, this place is indeed going to be demolished, and in your situation, you won't get a penny. By that time, the big brothers who promised you that nothing would happen to you would pretend to be deaf and dumb, and no one would help you. And what can you do? That's not true, Huihuan said carelessly. What? Zhang Chen asked. It's just me and the chef. It's not true. We just pretended to be good, Huihuan said. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, why? Oh, isn't it just because those people who say they have a boyfriend will at least not go too far, Huihuan said softly. Zhang Chen understood, and he sighed in his heart, knowing that this was a way for this little girl to protect herself. Indeed, if you know that you are a single girl, helpless, and still have some good looks, those who are like it's really hard to say what outrageous things a wolf-like man would do. If someone has a boyfriend by their side, they will at least restrain themselves a little. Zhang Chen immediately felt more favorable towards this girl, and at the same time he felt sympathy. Yes, as a man, he would fall into various difficulties when starting a business outside. Let alone a weak girl, you are really brave enough to dare to come out. Maybe you are forced to this point by life, who knows? Just curious, why did she tell herself that she and the chef were fake? Zhang Chen was about to ask, but then he understood that she trusted you and told you such a secret in exchange for you being able to open up to her. But Zhang Chen felt that this trust was really unbearable. If Zhang Chen said carefully, if this place is really going to be demolished, what will you do? Huihuan sighed and said, actually, I've been on tenterhooks during this period. I've also asked someone about my situation. If it really needs to be demolished, I won't be able to get a penny to compensate. Huihuan almost cried as she spoke. She said, if that happens, I have no choice but to go to their village committee to die. Zhang Chen was shocked and didn't dare to speak anymore. The two of them were silent. They could hear the sound of crickets coming from outside the car, as well as the roar of sewing machines in Zhang Chen's factory. Zhang Chen thought for a while, took out his business card from the locker of the car, handed it to Huihuan, and said to her, I have also gone through a process like yours, and I can understand you very well. I know that just how difficult it is when starting a business, but no matter what happens, no matter how big it is, don't get carried away. Keep my business card. If there comes a day when you feel you can't make it, just call me and I will help you, okay? Huihuan nodded and said, okay, thank you, Brother Zhang. Then we have an agreement. Huihuan said yes. Should I take you back to your place now, or to the store? Zhang Chen asked. Thank you, Brother Zhang, for taking me to the store. I can't close the door until 3 or 4 o'clock every day, Huihuan said. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1150. Zhang Chen was thinking while driving. He felt that he was in a very dangerous situation now. If he could not complete the new factory building before August and make the entire factory transition smoothly, then not only Jessica and their orders will have problems, and their domestic stores will also have problems. The overall sales situation of cotton and linen clothing is better than that in the second half of the year. In the second half of the year, the South can still maintain a good sales momentum. The North is already dominated by cashmere coats, mink coats, fur coats, and down jackets. Their cotton coats, they can barely maintain food and clothing. From June, July to early August, their clothing sales are at their peak. If done well during this period, a store's annual sales and profits will hit a bottom. If the product supply is not available at this time, normal, that is to pull out the fuel from under the cauldron and cause chaos in the world. Zhang Chen will be criticized by thousands of people. Zhang Chen arrived at the downstairs of the dynamic zone, parked the car, and ran upstairs. When he got to the garden, he saw that the lights in Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen's rooms were on. Zhang Chen shouted, "Pull!" Both doors opened. Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen appeared at the door almost at the same time. Tan Shahen asked, "Are you back?" "I came back in the afternoon and went to attend a hungmen banquet in the evening," Zhang Chen said. "Come here quickly. I'll see you if I have anything to do." Zhang Chen opened the door of the office, and Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen followed. The three people sat down on the sofa. Zhang Chen told them what happened, and the two of them were also surprised. Tan Shahen asked, "It's so sudden. I never heard that Sanbeo is going to be developed. According to the urban planning of Hangzhou where I am, the earliest development of Sanbeo will be 5 years from now." "Zhang Chen, are you sure this is true?" Lu Ligan asked. "A pair of secretaries and a pair of directors are looking for me." "How can this be false?" Zhang Chen said. "It's absolutely true. They have even signed the military order for demolition. I made a phone call to find out if that area is going to be demolished. It must be the collection and storage center and they are doing it." As Lu Ligan spoke, he called Director Chu of the Land Acquisition and Storage Center. The phone rang twice and the call was connected. Director Chu knew by looking at the number that it was Lu Ligan. As soon as the call came through, he shouted, "Mr. Lu, why is the wind blowing today? Do you want to call me in the middle of the night?" "I just miss you, Director Chu," Lu Ligan said with a smile. "I have something to ask. Do you want to bother me?" "No, I was at home and faded away like a bird." "Ho ho, Director Chu is so good today. Do you want to go for a walk?" Lu Ligan asked. No, the weather is uncertain today, so I won't go out." What Director Chu said was a code word, which meant that the wife at home was emotionally unstable today. "Tell me, Mr. Lu, what secret do you want to keep?" Director Chu asked. "Will Wufa village and Sanbeo area be demolished this year?" "Hey, Mr. Lu, why are you so well informed? Who told you?" "Boss." Lu Ligan scolded, "Don't care who told me, just tell me whether this happened." "Yes, everything will be ready in September, but if you want to take photos of the land there, you have to wait until next year." "Why so fast?" "I saw the planning bureau's plan." "Isn't it still early for that place?" Lu Ligan asked. "Planning? Planning is dead, but the situation is alive. The situation forces the plan to be changed. That is not a common thing. The current plan is that Fenki Road will continue to extend and cross the canal," Director Chu said. "Okay, I understand. Thank you, Director. Call me when the weather is nice." "Sure." Director Chu said and hung up the phone. Lu Ligan, Zhang Chen, and Tan Shahen said, "Yes, that is indeed what happened." "Then there are only 6 months left, Zhang Chen, what should you do?" Tan Shahen asked. Zhang Chen smiled bitterly and said, "I just have no choice. The only way is to move." "What if I don't move? Can we squeeze in Xiaoxi's place?" Lu Ligan asked. "I mean after the new factory is built." Zhang Chen shook his head, "If we all pass, we will definitely not be able to squeeze through." "So, the only way to build a new factory is?" Lu Ligan asked. "Seems to be." Zhang Chen said, If there were no orders from Jessica and the others, I would rent a few factories and a dormitory next to Wuzea Y and the others, and I could make a transition. I could also use the house in Hangsilian, but with Jesse it won't work if they get stuck on their orders. The place is too shabby. If we come back for factory inspection again, we will definitely fail it. Even if Jessica and the others come by themselves, they will frown. Either go find Lu Chengcheng and tell him about your situation here and see if he can help, Lu Ligan said. It's useless, Tan Shahan said. It's impossible for Lu Chengcheng to cancel the entire demolition plan because of one factory. At most, he can buy Zhang Chen and others 2 or 3 months to demolish it at the end. Zhang Chen nodded, feeling that what Tan Shahan said made sense. Okay, Tan Shahan is right, but after 2 or 3 months, we have become passive. They have already taken care of you, and you are too embarrassed to negotiate any terms. Lu Ligan thought for a moment and continued, Zhang Chen, if you put aside the possibility that production will be affected, this may be a good thing. Director Chu must be responsible for the demolition. I will help you talk to him, and we will definitely find the best solution. The conditions allow you to not only avoid losing money, but actually make a fortune. Besides, your 3 fortresses are also stretched now, so you can take advantage of this opportunity and expand with the trend. Yes, what Zhangzi said makes sense. We should take this opportunity to expand the factory area a little, reserve space, and move Jiao Si here in the future, Tan Shahan said. What does it have to do with Kiasi? Kiasi is already building a new factory, Zhang Chen said. What does it matter? You won't lose money when the factory is built. You will be compensated when it is demolished. It means that you have used it all in vain. Before they demolish it, you build a house unexpectedly. Lu Ligan looked at his watch as he spoke, and said, it seems that the Hangzhou city government has a big appetite and is making adjustments to the entire plan. I will call tomorrow to ask how long your Jiaosina factory can survive. You, how do I feel? You real estate developers are my biological children. Those of us who are in business are all raised by our stepmothers. We can only be driven here and there. The farther we are driven, the farther we are driven. In a few years, they will probably be driven to Yongcheng. As Zhang Chen said, both Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan laughed. Tan Shahan said, don't target us, we are not the ones selling the land, we are the ones buying the land. Lu Ligan picked up the phone, called Zhang Mushan, and asked him, given 5 months, can you finish a factory? How big is the factory? Zhang Mushan asked. If it's 100 square meters, I can finish it in 5 days. 100 square meters, is that a factory? That's a chicken coop, Lu Ligan said with a smile. 10,000 square meters of factory buildings and 6,000 square meters of dormitories. Come down together. Right. We can start construction at the same time, as long as we have enough manpower, Zhang Mushan said. What's so difficult about this? How long did it take me to build Zhang Chen's dynamic zone? What's the difference between this factory and the dynamic zone? Aren't they both big frames? Lu Ligan said, yes, I understand. Putting down the phone, Lu Ligan turned around and asked Zhang Chen, by the way, Zhang Chen, can I make an appointment with the secretary of Jasa village tomorrow? Zhang Chen said yes. Let's make an appointment tomorrow afternoon. I'll ask Lao Tan and Zhang Mushan to go there together. If the place is suitable, see if they can drive the factory out. The main thing now is to see what the current situation is of the land. It would be easier if it was a clean land. If demolition or something else needs to be done before that, it will be troublesome, said Lu Ligan. If that doesn't work, find another piece of land. There are so many development zones in Hangzhou. With the size of Zhang Chen's company, is it not easy to find a piece of land? Tan Shahan said, we don't want to hang ourselves from a tree. Lu Ligan said, based on this idea, we will first look for land in the past few days. As long as there is suitable land, the next problem will be easy to solve. Between the beginning and the end, we really only have 5 months. Can we take down the factory in such a short time? Zhang Chen still had some doubts in his heart, so he asked Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan said, build it first and then try to rush forward. By then it will be too late. The worst case scenario is that I will talk to Director Chu and ask him to give him another month or 2. If Director Chu still does it, if you can't find the master, go to Lu Chengcheng, there will always be a way. The principle is that because of this, production cannot be interrupted and you, Zhang Chen, lose that American girl. Didn't you just say that you can't fight for this time and you will be passive if you ask for it? Zhang Chen asked. Lu Ligan scolded, a war never tires of deceit, you don't know. I have negotiated all the conditions beforehand and signed the agreement. That is official business. Later I ask for another month or 2. It is a friend's help. Who has the nerve to do this because of this, to change the agreement that has been signed? Everyone turned a blind eye and passed it by as if they didn't see it. What a big deal. Zhang Chen shook his head and said, when it comes to being a profiteer, I'm really not as good as you. Don't worry about it, just make an appointment. Zhang Chen said yes, I will make an appointment tomorrow morning. Since we have gone to Xiaosha, we will go to Xiaosha Development Zone to see if there is any suitable place there, Tan Shahan said. Lu Ligan said yes, and he and Zhang Chen said, as per the old rules, you are only responsible for looking at the venue, and we are responsible for negotiating. Don't talk too much. Do you understand? Tan Shahan laughed on the side, and Zhang Chen also smiled bitterly and shook his head. However, after talking to the two of them, it seemed like it was a big deal at first, but now Zhang Chen felt that it was not that big a deal anymore, and it seemed that he could not overcome this hurdle. After making up his mind, Zhang Chen called Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao was very noisy, as if she was outside. Zhang Chen told her about the matter. Xiao Zhao also became anxious and shouted, this has just ended year, why did this happen? What should we do? It's okay, Tan Shahan and I are discussing this matter, Zhang Chen said. Lu Ligan snatched the phone away and shouted, don't worry, Xiao Zhao, it might be a good thing to catch up with the demolition, and you can still make money. If others want to demolish it, they won't be able to demolish it. We already have a plan. Okay, I don't understand this either. As Xiao Zhao said, someone behind him shouted ouch, and Lu Ligan asked, why is it so noisy? Where are you, Xiao Zhao? Gaija, we are having supper in Gaija, Xiao Zhao said. Someone snatched her phone away and asked, Lu Ligan, does this count as yours? Behind the phone, several people were laughing, and Lu Ligan cursed, I just said it was a zoo, and all the giant pandas in Sichuan are out. Thank you to Dal Tin Soldier and RIRI Shushu for the reward. Thank you, book friend 201808140849345546, for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health.